everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our Robot Heroes Week, where we talk about mechanical heroes in media who were made to save the world.
To start off, we're looking at the show that was gone too soon, Sym-Bionic Titan.
This awesome series follows three young alien beings with the ability to form a giant robotic warrior who attempt to blend into suburbia, all while bathing the tyrannical forces that ravage their home world. And boy, were they tyrannical. That is a great word.
Yeah,
I loved this show. I love the show and the three main characters. I adored it. I wish it would come back.
And the funny thing is, I did not watch this first.
That's correct.
Mama watched it with our Nana, and I was really just... now I feel like, I don't know if I want to see that. And then I finally sat down and watched an episode, and it was the one where they were doing a Fast and Furious parody, and I loved it.
I think it's so funny because after the first episode, our Nana wouldn't watch it anymore.
Like, what?
So I was on my own, but I loved it, and I really wish they would put this show on DVD. Please, pretty please,
right?
Put it on DVD.
There's a bunch of shows they have on or canceled that they haven't put on disc, and you gotta scourge the internet looking for it or pay for it on YouTube or Amazon or something.
But yes, and we know that many of you have seen this show, so we hope you enjoy our podcast.
Yes, and it was a show that was really ahead of its time. It came on in 2011.
And it was directed by Gennady Tartakovsky.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. It came on 2010 and then 2011.
It was created, by Gennady Tartakovsky, who you know from the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory.
Right. And it had a pretty big and great voice cast. You had Kevin Toms, Tara Strong, Brian Posehn, I think is his name.
John DiMaggio.
Yeah, Tim Russ, Kerry Walgren, and Don Leslie.
Yes. And what was great is that it was, like you said, not only ahead of its time, it was spectacular every single episode. And it was well received, so that's confused. We're confused as to why this show was canceled. It said that we read that the merchandising, which is a dumb reason to cancel a TV series that was so well loved. But hey, the powers that be at Cartoon Network.
Yeah, and they did this along. They canceled this and Beware the Batman, which was a CGI series, and they canceled Thundercats, the Thundercats reboot. So this is about the time when Cartoon Network started to change the landscape, and they stopped having a blend of comedy cartoons and action cartoons and started just being full out, all comedy, all nonsensical, and it took years, minus Adventure Time and regular show, until we had some more great, well-written Cartoon Network shows.
But how do you cancel a show that was nominated for Annie Awards? It was nominated.
Yeah.
Its first time out the door, or out the gate, as the saying says. First season, you're nominated for 2 Annies, and you cancel the show because no toys.
Yeah, and that was literally it. Nothing else but no merchandise for it. Well, make some. How hard was it? Sign a company that would do it, or heck, do it yourself because you got your own store. Make some toys, put it with the DVD as a gift, and that's it.
They could have gotten that Japanese company that makes microbots, or any Japanese company to do this. If they didn't want to deal with American suppliers, there were plenty of people in Japan who would have been happy to make toys for this series.
Yeah.
So, it's really disappointing.
As you can see, it has a great big following with many people, and people who even work for Cartoon Network and have made new shows like Craig the Creek and OKKO have referenced it or talked about it, and they just are like fanboying or fangirling over the show, and it's been off, and they even work for the company, even they think they shouldn't have gotten canceled.
So, it was great. As I mentioned, every single episode. It was a little dark. That's true. It was really dark for a concept. And I don't think that younger viewers are really the target audience when you watch it.
Yeah.
It was very graphic in some of the nightmarish animation and things.
Yeah, it could get pretty dark for Cartoon Network, which is probably why it started going to Toonami, which is the block on Adult Swim, just like Thundercats. Maybe they thought it was way too much for kids, and they just put it a little bit later, just in case. Which, you still had kids staying up to watch it, so it didn't work out that well in that case.
Well, it says on, I'm reading now, that it says that you could purchase the episodes on iTunes all the way through 2015 until they decided it just financially wasn't worth it and they got rid of it. But DVD people,
that's
DVDs,
the easy thing.
That the DVD would have sold. I'm not personally going to pay $2 an episode for this show on iTunes where it's in a digital format when I can have a DVD with a case and a cover and possibly some extra features because the show is gone.
Yeah.
And that is the only reason I would choose not to do iTunes. Okay, now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the greatness that was this show.
Yes.
Great characters, all developed, not only the major characters, but the secondary characters that appeared at the school.
Right.
And the characters that were in the government. You really didn't have too many questions with this show because pretty much the writing somehow entailed and answered every question you could possibly have about what was going on.
The only one that was left was the cliffhanger about who saved Octus, and that was the only one you had, and they couldn't even control that.
And it should have been a cliffhanger. Exactly.
Right. That was it.
Yeah,
you would get an answer in like a few episodes. It wouldn't just take you all to the end of the season for everything. It was like interchangeable, and every couple episodes something new would happen, new answers and so forth. So you weren't left like, when are they going to go back to this? It would just be in a matter of episodes.
Now, Lance, as Rascal is using the video, Lance was Keith named Lance.
Yeah.
That's what he was. He was emo, he was hard-edged, he could fight, he was cool, and his name was Lance. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, this Lance was the original Keith.
Right.
Before they had Keith, and then another Lance. Right. I had to tell like, no, not that Lance, this Lance.
But his character was well developed, and it wasn't just for show that he was this way with no depth. His character had real depth. His character had an interesting backstory, and the character's relationship with the princess was also very interesting. It wasn't just a trope and some
just a trope. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and it was crucial that they learned to get along so they could form Titan. Because he saw when there was discord, they couldn't really function as a team or as one. So that ended up becoming a major plot episode, like very early into the series.
And each of the characters had formed a major component of the Titan. He was the fighting part.
Yeah.
And then you had Alana, the princess.
Yeah,
she was the heart. Yeah. And her character was also very well developed. But she also reminds us of many other characters, including Star.
Right. There's a mixture of them. So it wasn't like a Disney princess or the new Disney princess. She was in a category all of her own.
Right.
Nothing connected to that, nor did they reference or try to make her like something Disney would do. They stuck to an anime or what Tartakovsky wanted to do. Yeah. And then you had Octus,
who you just loved. You absolutely loved his human persona that he created to blend in.
Right.
And he was the base. He was
I guess the mind.
He was the mind.
Mind or the body. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what made it all work.
Right.
And his nerdy character was adorable. You just really, really liked his character.
Yeah, it was Newton.
And you loved Newton having a girlfriend. And the most popular girl at school, cheerleader, fell for Newton. Right. It was wonderful because it wasn't cliche in how you usually see in other shows.
Right. It was like something you wouldn't expect at all. But it was like totally different, out of left field, and it worked.
And she adored him, and he adored her. And what really I thought was different from all these other ships we've seen that are similar is he kept telling her, you can do anything. You're smart.
Right.
And
she thought
she was
just
you should believe in yourself. And he really built her up. It wasn't like he was using, well, it wasn't like, he didn't use her to raise his own social status. He really adored her and wanted her to be more. And she was so touched when he told her.
Yeah. And it helped her. Yeah.
Yes. It was wonderful. You hadn't seen that type of relationship on any other show. And you still haven't to this day, where they developed the relationship between the geek guy and the popular girl. Well, it means something, and that was what. And he was a freaking robot. That's what made it awesome.
And I think he had 3 forms. He had his regular form. I
forgot about the dad.
Yeah, he had the dad and the neighbor liked him, was constantly flirting with him. He was like not getting any of the signals she was doing. He was just like deadpan.
And he had that turtleneck.
Yeah, that's like, what the heck? Maybe he was watching a sitcom to get it. And then they said the Newton form, which for some reason reminded me of Tenya later on. Because he's like a giant square build and a square head and a square body. That's to start reminding me, like, why does he look like him?
He's a cross between two of your favorite characters, Tenya and Hunk. But I loved it, and Lance was my favorite character out of the show.
Of course. And all the episodes were well written. There's not one dull episode or one that didn't fit. Mm-hmm. Even the one where they were doing the Fast and Furious shout out, it was for the third one for the Tokyo Drift.
Yes.
That was one of my favorites, especially with the driving instructor telling off the guy, "Oh, you call me, you call me,
that was awesome. That was one of the best. One of the best episodes ever in an animated show. It was not like anything you'd ever seen in an animated show. Ever.
Right. And then he had a whole backstory for Lance of what happened after his father was missing. He had the Shadows of Youth. You had Tashi 497. They adopted that little squid alien thing that was supposed to destroy them.
That's another thing I really liked about this show is that they gave you in-depth backstory, but it wasn't boring. There wasn't a flash to black and white Disney. There wasn't, it wasn't overbearing. It always fit in exactly the right place, giving you the information you needed to comprehend what was going on and to continue forward with the story. It was just perfectly set up.
Right. And there's one where Lance Joy's emo band, because he's
so don't forget the one, what was it, Bloody Mary?
Yeah, the Scary Mary. They can't say Bloody Mary, so Scary Mary. And one where they had to go to the homecoming, and even all the way up to the 2-part season finale. Each one was really engaging, whether it was just for fun, whether it was a shadow, whether it was plot, whether it was serious. No matter what, you were engaged in everything, especially when they were dealing with the Mutrati and the general, who had pretty much taken over and might as well say destroy the once beautiful planet.
Right.
And it's like someone had turned against them. So there was another mystery of how many people turned on their own planet and was willingly working with these other aliens to just bring chaos.
Now, there was one episode, and I'm sure you remember the name of it, where they were having these nightmares. And it reminded me so much of the
Shaman of Fear.
Avatar, the last Airbender episode, where they were in the swamp. And they were seeing visions of the past, of the present,
the people that passed on.
Right. And that reminded me of that. But what was really wonderful is this had to be 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Rascal took the time and got this entire series for me and gave it to me as a birthday present. And I was ecstatic. And immediately I said, put it in. Let's watch it. She's like, now is it now? I want to see it now.
Yes, just once again, another fantastic, amazing, awesome show. One of the last ones Cartoon Network had in a long time, minus Adventure Time regular show, in terms of action.
That has now ended up in the ever-famous Cartoon Network graveyard.
Yep. And like I said, since Samurai Jack did come back with the extra season to finish his story, hopefully Sym-Bionic Titan will come back too, because there's clearly still an audience for it. You got people working on your shows that are demanding it back and referencing it in their shows, so clearly they love this show just as much as fans and audiences.
And this time back, there should be merchandising. We want t-shirts, we want DVDs, we want Chibi-Chibis, we want Chibis, and we want Funkos, we want everything. So give it to us. That way they won't cancel it again for non-merchandising, because we want it and we'll buy it. So if you've seen this show and you love this show, let us know in the comments below who's your favorite character and what were your favorite episodes. We're just waiting and want to read exactly what you love, because we love it so much.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching, and tune in for our next Robot Heroes podcast. I'm Rascal Entertainments.
And I'm Mom Entertainments.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace. Initiate Sym-Bionic Titan.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountains. mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the